Welcome back to Call Me Obsessed. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Erin.
We are so excited for today's show. Today we are talking with fashion designer Fouy Chov. He has created elegant dresses for actress slash designer Elizabeth Rome, singer songwriter slash actress Haley Kiyoko, just to name a few. Fouy, what inspired you to pursue a career in fashion design?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I've always loved fashion ever since I was like a little kid. I mean, I
Okay.
was like as like a 5-year-old, I would always sketch like these little triangle like girls
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't really know how to draw. So I was drawing like triangle for the dress and like a circle for, and then I would just decorate the triangle like the dresses.
Oh.
Oh,
So I've always loved fashion. I've always loved to design, and then I've always like as a kid, I mean, it's so great that my aunts, my mom, my grandma allowed me to like dress them and played with their hair and like pick things out for them. I mean, imagine a 5-year-old saying, "Here, wear this, wear this, wear this." And
That
my
is so
grandma would just sit
cute.
there as I'm doing her makeup and hair, and she just allowed me to like play with her
oh,
hair.
Oh, that's so great that you had a community that allowed you to like express
Yeah,
yourself in that way. That's awesome.
yeah.
is there a designer you admire or one who's currently influencing your work?
Well, yes, growing up, I always loved the designer Terry Mugler. I mean, he's no longer with us, but I
Mhm.
always love his designs. I've always loved the fact that he always made a woman look so powerful, and his imagination was endless, like a lot of creativity. Like he did a lot of robotic things too, but then some feminine things. But what I loved was his creativity of like always tapering in the woman's body and then elongating them or creating like just different body proportions, which I thought was really a cool like way of approaching design. Just loved his design. It was always fierce. And it was like, like what was that George Michael video? Too Funky. In that video, he was the designer for that.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Okay.
If you ever go to that video with George Michael, Too Funky, I mean, that was his designs. It was just very cool, powerful. It just made you like imagine other things.
Look at
Funky.
that
yeah, we're
video.
gonna have to look at that today.
And had all the like the supermodels in it back in the days.
What has been your family's role in helping you pursue your career and ambitions?
They've always known I've loved fashion design. And so when it came to pursuing a school or like after high school, I was like, I want to go to New York and pursue fashion design. And they're like, no. They're like, my parents were like, nope, too scary. And I was like, wait, what? And so I have really had to think because I've always thought that I was going to be a fashion designer. And I'm like, that's my career path always growing up. Everything I've done was all about fashion. And so when they said, no, I can't go to New York, I was like, wait, what am I supposed to do? So then I looked into schools at, in Minnesota and stuff, but I ended up thinking, it is the future. And I've always been shy about computers. So I'm like, maybe I should like pursue something in computers with design. And that led me to graphic design. So this way
Okay.
I was able to like pursue design, but then learn technology and computers, pursue that, worked in graphic design for about 5 years. And I was like, not for me. And I was like, when my brother passed away, unfortunately, my older brother passed away from cancer, that kind of made me wake up and go, you know what? Life is way too short. And I had talked to my parents, and they're like, go, go. You've always wanted to do FIT, pursue fashion. So it gave me the courage because since they're like saying, go, go, go. So I applied for FIT. I was nervous because you have to do a lot of things to get into FIT. Like they send you like a whole packet of like tests, design test
Wow.
to
Wow.
get accepted. Like one of them, I remember like the assignment was like go to the grocery store, pick a fruit or vegetable, and design a dress out of it.
Oh my
And so I
gosh.
ended up picking a pineapple and designing like a pineapple dress, and was one of them. And so fast forward, I got in and went to FIT and
Woo!
loved every minute of it. I mean, I met so many interesting people and I love the class. It was a lot more intense than I had anticipated because I just thought like fashion, it's fun, right? But then going to FIT, they really teach you the ins and outs of fashion, like the sewing, the draping, the sketching, the business of it all. And so it's not as glamorous as you would think. So I just remember being at FIT and just knowing that we had a class of like, I remember like my draping class, we had like 35 or 40 people. And the next day there was like 25 people because everyone dropped out. Like it really made you go, maybe it's not for me, or it is. So and I loved it. For me, it was for me. I went to FIT at a much later age because I went to graphic design
Mhm.
and pursued graphics. So I went to FIT at a much later age. But some of these kids that come into FIT, they're only 18, 17 years old. So they just didn't realize that fashion's not all that glamorous. It's more of the nitty gritty. And it's not what you see on the red carpet all the time. So
Like you get the finished product on the red carpet, which is
correct.
always gorgeous,
All that
but
hard work
you
gets
don't understand the
displayed on
work
the
and the
red carpet.
grind to it.
Right.
Boy, it's so great that you were in graphic design because I actually work with graphic designers. I am not a graphic designer myself,
Okay.
but I work in marketing, and so I kind of know the labor of love that graphic designers go through to roll out new print ads, new billboards, all of that. And so I know that it's great that you had that like 5 years of a background before you transitioned into going into fashion design. So you're like, I know what it takes to like get the job done and I can make this change over into fashion and do it even better. And I love that for you. That's awesome.
Thank you so much. Yeah. No, I feel the same way. So I felt like it kind of gave me a little bit of background too.
Absolutely. Because you walked into it having knowledge of, okay, this isn't just like it's what the client wants me to design for them. I want to add in my own little element, but I know that they want the end product to be what their vision really is.
That's a good point too, because in design, especially in running a business, like we always say, like our retail stores always say, one for the window and one for the cash register.
Okay.
Because a dress that you design that can go way out there that you love and it's really great in design, but not everyone's going to relate to it and it doesn't in the register because no one can go, I'm not going to wear that. That's way too out there. But when you look at it, you appreciate the design of it.
Absolutely.
So a store would buy like a piece like that and display it in the window, but they need things that are sellable that, anyone can wear so that, or can approach it and say, I love it. It would look great on me, and that's what rings the register.
I like that 1-to-1 ratio. Like
Yeah,
one for us,
one
one for
the
them.
window, one for the cash register.
Love that. That is a great concept. Can you actually walk us through your process of what it is to designing a whole gown?
Yes, I can. Let me see. Sometimes it can come really easily,
Okay.
and sometimes it's like, oh my God, like I'm really working this dress up and down. A lot of the times, what I start is I try to find inspiration. It could be anywhere from on the street. Like the great thing about living in New York City, I mean, there's a lot of characters and personalities, but just such cool style. And so, like, even when we walk, I'll see someone like, oh my God, I love that collar, or I love that color, or I love that button. Even when we're at a restaurant, some lady walks in, I'm like, God, she looks elegant. So it's just that inspiration gets to me. And then what I do is I start sketching. If there's like a collar that I love or a neckline that I love, I start sketching a dress and it goes over and over again. So I can do like 50 sketches for one dress. And I sketch everything on my iPad. So which is great. I used to do it with pen and paper, but my dad got me an iPad. He's like, you should do an iPad.
Aww.
And it's so funny because my husband kept telling me, you should keep everything digital. I'm like, no, paper and pencil is the way to go. But fell in love with the iPad, and I'm obsessed now with the iPad. Obsessed. I would start sketching like probably like 50 sketches. And this is really what we learned at FIT too. They tell you to just get your ideas on paper and get it out there. And so I just start, even if it looks ridiculous, like you just keep sketching and sketching until like the one shows up. So once I finalize that sketch and say, oh my God, this is a great dress to make. And then you think of the client that's going to buy it and things like that. And then and then it goes into creating the pattern. So you create the pattern of the dress and then you turn it into a muslin. A muslin is basically like fabric that it's like a dummy fabric.
Okay.
Like simple fabrics that you cut out the pattern, you lay it out, you drape it on the mannequin. And so at that point in time, once it's draped on the mannequin, I can tell like the personality of the dress. If she's sassy, is she serious? Is she more elegant and sophisticated or reserved? So you can really showcase the personality of the dress once it's on the mannequin. And that's when I decide, okay, this is the way to go. We tweak it, either sometimes it can change to like, ooh, it never even had a sleeve. And now I'm adding a sleeve to it because that's how I felt like it once it came on the body. Things like that can happen. And then once it's finalized and I finalize the sketch, then it gets sent back and the factory works on it. And they sew up the actual mock-up of the dress. And again, once the sample's made, I can always change it again.
Of course, yes.
Like once it's made, I'm like, I'm feeling something different now with her. It's just she's reading differently to me.
Mhm.
And we'll tweak it then. And then once that's done, it's finalized. And it goes into
I love that. I love that it has a whole there's a whole process
there's
behind it, from start to finish, and that you feel the personality of the dress. Like that I love that.
yes, and that's what it's all about, like trying to get that personality. And then that's what's great because then when you actually like when I do trunk shows, it's
Mhm.
fun because then the dresses get to meet the personality and it's like,
Yeah.
oh my God, that's who I made it for.
Oh, that's very cool. Very cool.
That is so cool. Now, which celebrity would you love to dress
Ooh,
in
I have an answer for
style?
that one.
He's got a list, yes.
I do because I know like I mean my all-time favorite I would love to dress Angelina Jolie
Oh my
because she
gosh.
has that whole Cambodian background.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I'm Chinese Cambodian, which is I'm Chinese, but my family, we lived in Cambodia.
Okay.
There's
Oh,
a whole community of Chinese people that migrated from like China to Cambodia. And so that has a big special place in my heart. So that
Mhm.
Cambodian culture. So just because Angelina Jolie is such a big supporter of like her kid, one of her adopted kids are Cambodian,
Mhm.
and just she has a lot of Cambodian background to it or connection to it. And then I would say like Kelly Clarkson. I don't know. There's something about Kelly. I feel like we should just be friends.
I love Kelly
Yes.
Kelly
Clarkson.
and I should be friends.
As premier.
Like every time I see her on TV, I'm like, we need to be friends.
She's so bubbly and so sweet. Like her
Yeah,
personality is
that's
just
what I
like
love about
sunshine.
her.
Yeah.
Yep. And then there's Gemma Chan.
Oh God, I love her. I
Love
love her
her.
so much.
Oh my gosh. I mean, Crazy Rich Asian, I was like really like drawn to her. I'm like, oh my gosh, if I was ever a female, I would be her. I would be her.
Gemma's the reason I want to name if I have a daughter, I want to name her Gemma because
I love that name too. Oh my
she's
gosh.
just
I
beautiful.
hope you
I
get
love her.
to.
I love her so
I
much.
love that name too. I have Lucy Liu and Oprah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, those are good picks.
Yeah.
Like,
Very good.
I mean, kick-ass Lucy Liu.
I know.
And
Absolutely.
and she's always polished. And then Oprah, she's just so cool. I mean, she's just, what can you say about Oprah?
She's just Oprah. That's
Oprah.
literally what you say. She's just Oprah.
I think those are probably like who I would love to dress.
That's so cool.
That's an awesome list. We all appreciate that list.
Yeah. We'll manifest that list for you.
Yes, yes, we will. So we had an idea, and Erin had sent you some full-length photos that we had taken.
Yes.
How would you style each of us for a red carpet event? And can you give us a quick rundown of what your vision would be?
So that's a little tougher because I love actually meeting, more like I'm more one-on-one
Okay.
personality and, so, but just by looking at the photos that you sent,
Mhm.
you guys are all gorgeous.
Thank you.
Good job on that.
Thank you.
So Amanda, we're back
Yes.
to Amanda now. I just thought you had a really cool vibe and
Thank
like through the picture. So I thought, you know what? I'd love to just cinch you in and pull you up. And
Perfect.
I
Love that.
just thought this little number where it's kind of has it's a fabric on fabric that I had cut out and
Okay.
the fabric I made into scallops. And then just elongating you and giving you more like a one shoulder to off balance everything. I think it's just a really cool. Is that
I love
cool?
that
Like it's
so
just
much.
and that is actually just like scallop strips out of the same fabric. And then in the center of it, they're like little tiny beads.
I love that.
So it elongates you.
Yes.
It gives you different, the asymmetrical kind of off balances and it just works. It pulls everything up and streamlines everything. So I just thought that would be, and I would love, yeah, this would be cool if your hair was like up and half down. Like,
Oh, beautiful. I love it. I'm all for this look. I always want to be taller, like because I'm so short. I always want to be taller. Yes.
and Aaron, didn't forget about you.
Yay.
So you have gorgeous shoulders, my gosh. And you, like, how tall are you? You look so tall in your photos.
I am 6 foot.
Oh my gosh. So you pretty much can carry anything.
Mhm.
I think you can carry anything. But I thought to give you, because it looks like you have the height, so you can really carry anything. And I love your shoulders.
Thank
So
you.
I thought something like this would be really pretty. It also continues the elongation
I love that.
with the pattern and it drapes right off the shoulder. But what's cool is that these have gathers in the seam. So all along the
Ooh.
seams are like little gathers that actually mold and shape the body. So it gives you a little more curve
Yeah.
and then it balances your shoulders off. So you can still elongate that body.
I love
So
that.
where
I
you
love that.
really
Is that
I
is
love that
that
for you, Erin.
I love that.
Boy, you have such an eye. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Anything to make me taller, I'm all for that.
Don't we wish we had Erin's height?
Yes, for real. Oh, with your creations in the public eye, how do you handle feedback, both positive and negative?
I guess for me, I've been in the industry for a while, so I kind of like own up to things now,
Okay.
as far as like just accept it and brush it off. But when I first started, it was really tough because when you first start, you're like, you get so many criticism, especially like when I was a designer for another company or another designer, the assistant designer, I would design and then, you get the feedback. So you're like, oh, you get crushed because if they don't like it, or if you design something and it doesn't sell, you get crushed. Then you're like, what's wrong with my designs? So a lot of it really hurts at the beginning. But you develop thicker skin as time goes by, and you're like, you know what? You do the best you can, and it's an opinion. Some people love it, some people don't, and then just honing in on and really taking good criticism. Like you can't take criticism from people. I don't like it. Well, why don't you like it?
Sorry.
That doesn't help me. So good criticism is, oh, you know what? I don't think this color is appropriate for me, or this and that, the shape is wrong. Then you understand more of what the design is versus someone just saying they either like it or don't like it.
Because I feel like I feel like that applies to just like even just regular, like your regular everyday wear. Like,
Yeah.
my mom and I have that difference of opinion. We'll go to the store and she's like,
Yeah.
"You need to try it on because it looks different on the rack versus on you." And so now that I'm older,
100%.
yeah, and now that I'm older, I understand that more.
Our industry, there's no hanger appeal. So,
Okay.
so when it's just hanging,
Mhm.
there's no like there's a certain reason why I put things in certain places, but it needs the body to create that direction.
Got it.
Hanger just kind of flops. And so I always say, no, I did it for a reason. You'll see, you're going to grow like 6 feet taller. And so they put it on there like, you're right, because they didn't see what my intentions were in the design, just hanging there. And you had to have like a figure on it.
Got it. That makes a lot of
So
sense.
Yep.
that is a good food for thought when you go shopping. Always try things on, even if you're like, no, it's not for me. Because it does look different on the body.
Don't be afraid to try it on. Like,
Yeah, don't be afraid to try different silhouettes, different colors.
Okay.
Because and different textures. Just because you're used to one thing and you're like, oh, this always looks good on me, you never know what else is going to look good on you. All you can do is take it off. I mean, you're not obligated to buy it.
It's true. And I think we get complacent with
Yep.
with certain styles of shirts and skirts and dresses because we know what works for us at a certain store, and then when you go to a different store, it could be a totally different experience there. And I think as just a consumer, it gets frustrating because you're one size in these jeans, but then over here you're different style and size in these jeans. But at the same time, like we always, I love that you always need to have an open mind no matter what you're trying on.
Yep. An open mind. That's key. And that's really like that theory really goes and applies to life in general.
Yeah. So what advice would you give someone trying to be an aspiring designer?
I would say if you really want to be a designer, stick with it. This industry will bring you in, work with you, and spit you out. Like you just have to be strong enough to deal with it. And realize the criticism, realize that there's good days and bad days in it. But it's really, if you love that passion of design, you just get at it. And pretty soon it just all clicks together. I'm a big believer in attending like school, FIT, Parsons, any like fashion design school, because they really round you in total as a designer, because they do teach you like the concept of sewing and stitching and draping and the history of fashion and how the market works and stuff like that. So you're not kind of like going into it clueless or expecting one thing. In reality, it's another. If you love fashion, stick with it.
I love that. Boy, where do you see your company in the next few years?
I would love to dress bigger stars. I've been playing on the idea of like maybe a flagship store. So so maybe that could be in the future. I don't know. Maybe one would be in Minnesota. Who knows? Maybe branching out to different avenues of design. Like I love like interior design. So and dishes, I love dishes. Glassware and coffee mugs and all that stuff. So I would love to do any like home decor.
I'd buy it all. I'd buy it all for. I'd buy it all.
Also, a lot of my time is like my daughter is everything. Emerson is like everything. So a lot of my time spent with her too. and my husband. So I've designed a couple of dresses for her for special occasions and stuff like that. And she's gotten such a big
No.
opinion now on how things should be, on how she dresses. It's,
That's so cute.
so that girl's got no opinion now.
Because I love her outfits.
Precious.
I've seen them and they're amazing.
Yeah.
So you come from a family of business owners and hard workers. You know, John, your parents, they own their own company. Is that a theme in your family?
That is a theme. You know, the funny thing is that used to be a theme in my family. Like all of my aunts and uncles have owned their own either donut shop, restaurant. So everyone has always owned their own business. And so I branched off owning my own fashion design line. And Johnny branched off owning his own property management team. And so, but I have to say, like a lot of my cousins now they just see the struggle that everyone went through because it takes so much of your time. It's not a 9 to 5 job, you know, and a lot of my cousins now really love the family life. They have kids now. They want to spend time with their family. Like growing up, I was like one of the latchkey kids, you know, like my parents were at work and I would just, you know, go home from school, make my own meals. My parents would prepare whatever, and we are home alone. So, but I guess the next generation in my family, they all want to be more involved. Like I know, like even though my parents worked a lot, we were always at the restaurant. Kind of their way of like spending time with us being at the restaurant, and we would help out with the restaurant. I mean, I was waiting tables at like 4th grade.
Love our motto here on Call Me Obsessed is family first, and you represent that. I think that's
Oh,
great.
thank you so much. I'm glad that came across.
Absolutely, yes.
Yes.
We have one last question for you today.
Sure.
Are there any upcoming projects that you're working on that you can share with us?
Not currently.
Okay.
Yeah. I just remember like in the past there was like Martina McBride, you know, they had their concert, and last minute they're like, the stylist reached out to me like, you need to design her this dress. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And he's like, here's your inspiration. And they sent me a red ornament. I'm like, wait, that's supposed to be my inspiration? But we got it done and she wore the dress. And I mean, it was crazy. So hopefully I get a chance to do something like that again.
That is awesome.
That's so cool.
That is very cool. Well, Fouy, I think that's all we have for you today. We really appreciate it. You coming on and sharing your whole life with us. We were thrilled to talk to you today.
Right. Yes, Fouy, thank you so much. We cannot wait to continue to see your amazing creations.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.